we're going to work now with a little Beetle pattern that I use. And what I have in here is a size 10 curve shank nymph hook, but you could use just a regular nymph hook or a streamer hook would work as well. And we're going to make this out of foam. And one of the things, I'm just going to lay it, my thread bed. And normally I use black, but greenish would work as well, or you can use a different color like yellow if you want to give it some color before we're done. And I just get my basic thread down. And then I've cut a strip of 2mm black foam, craft foam. And the width of that is approximately 3/8 to 1/4 inch. That's it. It's not that wide. And then I bring the foam up so I get a little something for the foam to grip to. And again, back by the hook point. And I'll start it off something like that. Okay, so I just laid it on top, put a few wraps on to hold it. Then I like to take a little super glue and put it down. And I put it on the foam, or you could put it on the wire, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to go forward and just do some wraps and kind of pinch it down and get my underbody. This is going to get buried before we're done. And that glue's going to start setting up a little bit. And I grab a couple of peacock herl. You could use dubbing. I've also used sometimes ostrich herl. Would work like we used with our cell bug. Gives it a little different look. Trim off the peacock herl so it's even. And then I'm just going to get that on the body like so and get it tied in, pointing backwards. Now you could put some super glue or cement on this all around if you wanted to, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to wrap my peacock herl as my body. If that herl starts to split, try to twist it together, and you can a lot of times bring it right in line. And maybe a couple of wraps in the front, but I'm not going to crowd the eye. I need some room there. Okay? Questions so far? Take the tag off. I don't want my eye interfered with, so I'm going to make sure that's pretty bare. Okay? Then I bring my thread back a little ways, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so, about like so. And I bring my foam body over the top. And then I'm going to secure that, trying not to go to the eye any more than I can to leave some room. And I pinch it down to kind of get that body a little bit rounded. And I've got it tied in there. Okay, and then I might make a few in the front just to help it to set up a little bit. Now if I want my body longer, I can move it back a little bit, or I can tie it a little closer to the eye, but you get the idea. You see how the hook's sticking out the back? I don't have any problem with that way with material getting in the way at all. Then I'm going to come up just short of the eye, or right at the eye, and clip off that foam like that. So my hook eye is usable. Then I'm going to take some kind of crystal flash, and we'll just use this piece. A lot of times I'll use root beer, it's a darker color. And what I've done with this is I've taken the number of legs I want, 8 or 10 maybe, and I put them together, and I just took and looped them into a knot. And that's how that knot got there. And then this will be one set of legs, and then I have control of my other legs. You can do them separately if you want, as separate fibers. That's just one way to control it. I just lay them on top. Going to do a figure 8. And I want to tie in right square in the middle of the neck of that beetle. Maybe a couple figure 8s. If I want to make it shorter, I can do that. Make sure they're spread out a little bit so they kind of look like legs. Cut them off to the length I think I want. Cut this side off to try to match it. Okay, so I've got some legs sitting out there. I've got my body, I've got my hurl on. Okay. The other thing I want to do is some kind of a sight on here. So you can use some foam, but I don't have any cut and ready. So what I'm going to use is a CDC oiler puff. And this one happens to come from Hairline. Oh, okay, good. That'll work too. Or a regular CDC feather will work as well. So I take the feather and just gather it in, something like that. You can use whatever color you want. If you want it to look like wings, maybe you want to go to a more of a tan color or something like that. And then I can just trim that off. Okay. You can use little strips of craft foam instead if you want. And basically my beetle's done. I could whip finish it on top, or I could whip finish it by the eye. Either way works. And then I'll put a little glue on the knot and put a little bit of glue on here. Careful not to get it up on the feather itself, but right at the cross there, and it'll work out pretty well. So that's my version of a foam beetle.